Into the furnace, fire crews battle through the night as out-of-control bushfires threaten towns and authorities warn the worst is to come.
Heatwave horror, heart attacks and emergency calls soar with fears that lives will be lost.
Final farewell. Hundreds expected to say goodbye to one-punch victim Daniel Christie as the New South Wales Premier is urged to end all the violence.
Oscar nominations, the snubs and surprises, and will our Kate get the nod?
Give this girl a date. The Aussie woman who's gone to extreme measures to find a bloke.
Look what's hiding in the toilet. We meet the Queensland family who got the fright of their lives.
How's the Serenity?
The Castle returns. Why the Kerrigans are heading back to the big screen. I know. The Castle coming back to the big screen.
Who would have thought?
How good is that? It is
It's the
all
best
good.
news all morning, really.
Well, it's Friday, and I just thought maybe something a little bit fun on a Friday.
I think it's a good idea.
I don't think there's anything more funner
No.
than the Castle coming.
Mr. Kerrigan, the beef Wellington was a credit to the airline.
I knew you would know.
Tim will be regaling us with all that. Plus, and maybe Kate Blanchett, she's good enough, isn't she, to get a role in that film. She has, we're going to find out if she's been nominated for Best Actress for the Oscars. But
Okay.
I don't think we'd be running that vision if she wasn't.
Yeah. We think she might have been.
Richard Wilkinson's hot off the plane and he'll have all of that stuff as well.
That's
Plus, I've got an announcement to make.
Yep. Tell me.
I'm pregnant.
Oh, really?
I know.
What's it's Arnold
I'm
Schwarzenegger?
so
Pregnant.
pleased. I'm so
And,
pleased.
well, you can't see my belly there. But,
Oh, geez, you're doing well in
know,
both departments, I think,
quite
Carlos.
who says pregnant?
Now, that's going to be very funny.
know.
Carl's road testing pregnancy for us this morning. So, all the things that women have to go through. Carl spent, you spent a good part of the morning, I think.
I spent a good
Well
5
done.
minutes doing
A good
that.
5 minutes. So
but
he's across it all.
It's not easy. Look, it's not easy. All manner of things.
The back pain getting into the car.
So during the course of the morning, please let us know the worst part of pregnancy, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
Absolutely. Thank you for your company. It is Friday, the 17th of January 2014. Let's check the weather in the capital cities of Australia. First up, a possible shower in Brisbane. Melbourne and Adelaide, 44 and 42 respectively, with strong winds, worsening conditions there for the firefighters. It is not a good situation this morning, and it should be sunny in Perth, reaching 33 degrees.
Well, let's get to all that fire news now with Sylvia Jeffreys. Hey, Sylvia.
Good morning, Karl and Wendy. Good morning to you at home. The mercury is already starting to climb and winds are strengthening in many parts of Victoria ahead of what is expected to be a horror day for fire authorities. For more, we're joined by Today reporter Lauren Ellis in Victoria. Lauren, good morning to you. Firefighters, we know, are already battling many blazes across the state. What are the areas of most concern for them today?
It's certainly D-Day for the firefighters here in Victoria, and one they're very concerned about.
All right, Lauren, we will come back to you for updates throughout the morning. Almost 1,000 patients of a Sydney dentist may have been exposed to HIV. A public health investigation into 2 dental practices operated in the CBD and North Sydney has found poor infection control. There are allegations equipment was not properly sterilised between August 2002 and August 2013. 980 patients have been told they may have been exposed to HIV, hepatitis B and C. The Vatican has been questioned by the United Nations over how it handled allegations of child sex abuse committed by Catholic clergy. It is the first time the Holy See has been publicly grilled by an international panel over the scandal. Indonesia's Mount Sinabung is this morning threatening villages and destroying crops in North Sumatra. Those living near the volcano, which has been dormant for 4 centuries, have been forced to evacuate and seek refuge at shelters. Taking a look at the markets now, and on Wall Street, the Dow Jones has fallen 75 points. The S&P 500 is down just slightly. At home, the All Ords closed 63 points stronger. On the Asian markets, Japan's Nikkei has lost 61 points. And in London, the FTSE ended up falling 4 points. Commodities now, gold is weaker, so is silver, and oil is trading right now at $93 a barrel. The Australian dollar weaker across the board. It will get you 88 US cents. Well, Kate Blanchett has cemented her position as an awards show favourite, with the Aussie actress bagging a Best Actress Oscar nomination overnight. Let's go live to 9 News correspondent Darren Curtis. Dasha, not really a surprise. The momentum has really been with Kate, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely so, Sylvia.
Dasha, we all look forward to seeing what you will be wearing on the red carpet as well. Nice
Yeah,
tuxedo.
thanks very much.
There you go. Imagine if you could turn Chris Hemsworth into a ringtone.
Into a what?
A ringtone or an alarm clock.
What's all that cheapening blokes?
Then I would wake up at 3 a.m. every morning
Happily.
without complaining.
Just want to be pieces of meat.
Yep.
Now, thank you, Sylvia. Talk to you soon. Let's have a look at the national fly around for you and have a look at the weather in your neck of the woods. Cairns heading for a few showers today and 31 degrees, 33 in showers for Townsville. Showers also for Mackay, and Brisbane showers around 2 and a high of 30. Steamy. In the Northern Territory, Lara, showers and rain periods, 26 your high today. Rain periods for Tennant Creek, get everyone there today. And you have a high of 29 degrees.
All right, time to spec sport.
Exactly.
Spec sport.
Wat dit is
I said, Timmy, whoa.
Yeah, that. What? It's Russian.
I don't know how to respond to that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good. Coming up, the Australian cricketers get ready to inflict more misery on England. We'll hear from a league great, of course, Freddie Fritler, about his comeback. Plus, a couple of Aussie young guns go down fighting on a memorable night, a hot old night at the Australian Open. It's all on the way.
Know that, Wendy. Continue to surprise me. Welcome back to the program. Good to have you company today. Let's check out the front pages before we get to all the great sporting news. On the Herald Sun, out-of-control fires are threatening towns in Victoria as residents brace for another 44-degree day. The extreme heat stretching paramedics, putting a strain on power supplies and causing all sorts of transport chaos as well. Come on, Sydney men. Bowl this maiden over. The Daily Telegraph.
I don't understand.
We need to find her a bloke.
We do.
Any single blokes here?
Yeah. She's asked for a photo and 25 words. That's all you need to send in.
So I think we
Shouldn't
should,
be that hard.
if you want to send your photos in, certainly none of the crew would qualify for her high standards.
Sure, we've got a
joking.
good-looking bunch of people.
No, except, well, they're real men, aren't they?
Well, that's
You
true.
know,
That's
they're
good.
real
That's
men.
good. That's good.
They smell like real men too. Timmy.
Oh, a few of my mates would be all over that like a cheap suit. Absolutely. Unbelievable.
The tickets.
All over the offer.
I'm sure
The
she's
tickets.
The
very
offer, the
yeah,
ticket, the corporate box. Yeah, someone. Yeah.
So he's not interested now.
Well, I'm married with 3 children. I'm out of the box. It's all about the Gabba this afternoon and this evening. Australia head into today's one day against England on a high, of course, thanks to a new game plan under coach Darren Lehmann. But Freddie's been doing quite a few things right at the moment. He's a bit nervous about making his playing comeback to rugby league. 41-year-old Fitler will lace up the boots for the Roosters in the Nines tournament, but he isn't expecting miracles. It's a little bit safer with us on the Sunday Footy Show, I think, Freddie. But good luck to him.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. I love Freddie Fitler.
Great
It's
guy.
good for the game.
Good form.
Thank you.
All right, time for Celeb Buzz. Richard Reid, good morning to you. What's going on?
Well, is Harry Styles headed to reality TV? Oh, we're all wondering if the One Direction hunk has fallen under the Kardashian spell. It's very strong, you know. Celeb Buzz coming up.
Welcome back to the program. Another update on the bushfires soon, but right now New South Wales Premier Barry O'Farrell is being urged to introduce mandatory minimum sentences for one-punch crimes when his cabinet meets on Monday. Today, hundreds are expected to attend the public funeral for Daniel Christie, who was killed by an alleged coward's punch. Chris Urquhart joins us now. Chris, the Governor-General, Quentin Bryce, is sending a strong message by attending Daniel's funeral. It's time for politicians to act, is that message?
The family, as we've said, will be remembering Daniel for the 18 years of his life and not just what happened on New Year's Eve.
Awful day for them ahead today. Chris, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Wendy.
Up next, big trouble for Courtney Love and why it could change how we use social media. You're watching Today.
Great to have your company on today's show. Buzz time, buzz time, buzz time. Now, we've seen all these overseas bulletins that have had Australia peppered through them because of the heat wave, in particular with the sporting problems at the Australian Open. Of course, the Australian Open has been really hot and it's going to be another warm one there. Well, a couple of clever people in Taiwan, the Taiwanese animators, have created a video mocking players who have complained about the sports conditions. Or more, they're just having a bit of a fun at the whole thing. This is the Taiwanese animators in action.
保特瓶被热浪融化，球童们也晕倒。
I love it.
But there you go.
Thank you, Timmy. More of that a little bit later in the show. News, sport and weather next, including the latest evacuation orders from the bushfires in South Australia and Victoria. You're watching Today. Welcome back to the program. Let's get straight to the news now with Sylvia Jeffreys. Sylvia.
Thank you, Karl. Good morning. Families have been evacuated near the South Australian-Victorian border as an out-of-control bushfire rages across the country's southeast. Fires, rather. Here is what we know right now. 4 properties have been evacuated at Narcat in South Australia, and authorities are expecting it to be the worst day for firefighting this week. Let's go live for an update to 9 News reporter Elise Baker in Adelaide. Elise, good morning. Conditions, as we've heard this morning, are only getting worse. What is the very latest that you're hearing? Elise, evacuations underway near the South Australian border. Meantime, Victorian fire authorities are bracing for horror conditions not seen since Black Saturday 5 years ago. A total fire ban is in place across the state, with 43 blazes still burning, 25 of which flared up overnight. To finance now, and in the US, the Dow Jones has lost 73 points. And the Aussie dollar this morning is weaker across the board. It will get you 88 US cents. Well, 5 Australians have scored Oscar nominations this morning, including Best Actress frontrunner Cate Blanchett. Good to see plenty of Aussies being recognised. Let's get the sport now with Tim.
Of course, today, the one-day Australia and England.
Looking
watch it
forward
here
to
on
that.
9.
Thank you very much for that, Timmy. Coming up today, looking for love in 2014. Have you ever been on a date that hasn't really gone according to plan, Sylvia?
Who hasn't? Karl?
Perhaps. A horror dating story. Share them with us on email, Twitter and Facebook, and a little later we'll reveal the best dating websites and apps.
Absolutely. Or perhaps you could follow this young woman's lead and take an ad out in the classifieds. Just no bogans, full stop. Yeah.
Gee, she's a little bit picky, isn't she?
Oh, you've got it.
No wonder she hasn't got a date.
Well, she said no bogans.
Like, why don't you want to go to the cricket with a bogan? That's the best ever.
That would make it enjoyable, actually.
What's wrong with that
She
woman
needs to,
anyway?
reassess
If you want to
those
date to the cricket, let us know. Send in a photo or whatever. Let's get some of your best local forecast now with Steve Jacobs. Hey, Stevie.
If you need another excuse to get out of work early on a Friday, Karl and Wendy, you got it.
Exactly.
Perfect excuse, isn't
I think Sammy Newman, our great friend in Melbourne, has opened up his very large boat to anyone that wants to go out on the water today to cool off.
Oh, brilliant.
So just send Sammy a text or ring the Channel 9 switch in Melbourne and Sammy will take you out on the water.
He's going to hate you.
He's got specific requirements as well, doesn't he?
He does. Let's get some entertainment with Richard Wilkinson. Now he's back in the country. Hello, Dickie.
He is back, Carlos, and he's very happy about that too. Good morning to you. Good morning, one and all. Look, today we're going to hear from the boss, the mighty Bruce Springsteen, on the day his new album is released, and 5 Aussies nominated for Oscars, including Cate Blanchett for Best Actress. We have all those details coming right up.
Good morning, Melbourne. Another hot day ahead with a top of 44 degrees and gusty winds set to cause extreme bushfire conditions. Right now, you're sitting at 26 degrees.
And we'll have full coverage of the unfolding bushfire emergency in Victoria and South Australia in just a few minutes' time.
Time now, though, for Celeb Buzz with Richard Reid.
Well, good morning, guys. I got to tell you, no one is safe from George Clooney and his love of practical jokes. Just ask Matt Damon. Now, while the two were filming the movie Monuments Men, George had Matt convinced, absolutely convinced, he was getting fat. That is cruel. What's the meanest thing you've ever done, Karl? Have you ever played a practical joke on anybody?
I don't know, but I reckon Fordo's done the same thing to me when I got back from Christmas holidays. It's like, wow, I can't fit into my pants, Fordo.
Hey, does Taylor Swift have a new love in her life? That's what people are saying. She and Oscar nominee Jared Leto were spotted, doing some dirty dancing, let's just say. You know what happens after texting, Karl.
She writes a bad song.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Thank you, Richard. We'll see you soon, my man. Here are the top stories this hour on Today. A very good morning to you all across this great country of ours. Not such a great morning. Today is set to be the worst day yet for bushfire conditions in South Australia and Victoria. This is the latest information. This is what we have as it unfolds. In the past few hours, a bushfire in Narkat near the South Australia-Victoria border has raged out of control. This all comes amid soaring temperatures and powerful winds. We have special coverage for you this morning. Let's go to Ewan Ferguson now at the Victoria State Control Centre. Ewan, just further to that, do you have any further information in relation to the Grampians and those affected areas?
We can confirm there have been 2 structural losses. At this stage, there's no loss of life or injury. Those fires today are expected to burn out of bush into private land, and we're hoping that CFA and deputy firefighters will be able to bring those under control.
Whenever there is an issue of a warning, such as it's too late for you to leave, it's always very, very difficult to digest. What is your advice to those people who have been issued with that and who may be issued with that information later on today?
You still have a little bit of time to leave now.
Appreciate that update. We'll come to you a little bit later in the show, but let's go to South Australia now. CFS State Coordinator Brenton Eden. We heard this morning, about an hour or so ago, there were some real areas of concern for you and some orders have been announced. What are they and what are those areas?
We are at the stage where we have virtually depleted our available firefighting resources down in that area. So everyone that is there will be combating that fire, as that fire is crossing the border as we speak.
All right. Brenda, we thank you for your time today. Ewan as well, and Alexis, as you can judge behind what's behind Alexis, is so dry, and when those winds come up, you can imagine how quickly it's going to move. Thank you for your time, and more updates throughout the morning on the show. Wendy.
Yeah, it's an unfolding situation, Karl, and health authorities are urging residents to remain vigilant as temperatures right across Australia's southeast soar today. Emergency crews, as we just saw in Victoria and South Australia, have recorded a massive spike in the number of patients going into cardiac arrest. Everyone in heat-affected areas should stay indoors and, of course, be drinking plenty of water at the moment.
Broadcaster Darren Hinch says he'd rather serve 50 days in jail than pay a fine for contempt of court. He was ordered to pay $100,000 after breaching a suppression order about the killer of Melbourne woman Jill Marr. Hinch says the decision is not about money, but the need to draw attention to what he calls obscenely short sentences given to violent offenders. A fierce bushfire is spreading rapidly at a national park near Los Angeles, with huge plumes of smoke covering neighbourhoods in a thick blanket of haze. Evacuations have been ordered, with strong winds fanning the flames. No one has been injured, but properties have already been destroyed.
Thank you, Sylvia. Well, new research out today about teenage depression will give some relief to many worried parents out there. A major study has found that most teenagers will grow out of depression and fully recover by the time they reach adulthood. Were you actually surprised by these results?
Adolescents who experienced only one episode of depression, which is under 6 months of a period of time, didn't generally, about 50% of the population who studied, didn't generally go on to develop depression in later life. So that's wonderful treatment news.
Yeah, it is. I guess the concern is, though, for parents out there, how do you tell if your child's depression is temporary or if it's something more serious that might come back?
We need to be really mindful that if these symptoms persist for a minimum of 2 weeks continuously, that is a big warning sign that perhaps this will then roll into long-term depression and it needs immediate intervention.
All right, so that 2-week mark is when we really need to step in by the sounds of things.
2-week mark is absolutely, that's the thing that parents need to be mindful of.
All right, Sandy Ray, thank you very much. Great to talk to you. Over to you, Karl.
There has been a victory for people power on the Gold Coast. Locals have quashed a plan to build a $2 billion cruise ship terminal that would have ruined surfing at Kira Beach. It must be frothing.
We really want to save the whole coast, and we're happy we've got Kira saved for a short term, but you know, I think the long-term fix here is to make it a world surfing heritage and make our whole coastline from the Southport to Coolangatta to make it a World Heritage surfing site that can be saved for generations.
The Gold Coast is known for its beautiful beaches, so let's preserve those.
You blokes need to run for politics. Hey, how cool would that be?
We do enough with each other.
Yeah,
I'd be frothing
the waves
if you
will
did
be
that.
good on Monday and we won't be there.
Hey, thanks, lads. It is a good fight. You're fighting it hard. Keep going, because it's so important.
Big victory, Carlos. Thank you. Well, coming up, Karl's going to get just a small taste of what it's like to be 9 months pregnant. We're going to find out how he went in just a moment. But look, judging by that vision, I think he found it a little tough, just a little. But right now we'll get the latest weather with Stevie Jacobs. Morning, Stevie.
We will see the end of the heat tomorrow, but as I said, the wind and the fire danger are going to be the main issues, and that could continue right through the weekend and for days to come.
More information to come on that story. Thank you, Stevie. Well, the other day I was giving Wendy a little bit of a hard time in regards to, well, not really a hard time. I was sympathising to an extent, but I was highlighting your pregnancy because it should be highlighted, right?
By wobbling my belly, basically.
Well, I didn't wobble your belly.
Well,
I made you laugh.
You did,
you make it
which
sound
wobbled
weird.
my belly. Yeah, it wasn't that weird.
Anyway, I reckon it's a good thing to have a look at where it all came from first of all, right? No, you were pregnant. It's like, wow. Geez, Wendy's let herself go over Christmas.
Has been a big break. If I could swear right now, I would.
All right, maybe I did give you a hard time.
You did. So after that, we basically put Karl to the challenge and we gave him this empathy belly, which I picked that up this morning. It's really heavy.
It's about,
It's really heavy. But we wanted you to fully appreciate,
it's a good thing.
what it's like to be pregnant. So have a look at this.
I have 12 kilos on my shoulders this morning, so doesn't seem that hard. What? One down. It's easy enough. It's starting to get a little bit more difficult. Yeah, the other thing I've noticed is that with the extra weight around the belly section, just have to go to the toilet all the time because of that weight on the bladder. So, yeah. Don't touch my belly.
How did you get so fat?
With these heat wave conditions too, it's almost unbearable. Just walking out onto hot roads and getting into a car is pretty difficult situation. Seat's going to have to come back a bit. But look, it gave me a full appreciation, even for the 30 seconds that I wore this around the office, of how difficult it is. And it's those other things. It's not just the weight, because the weight would probably, be distributed more evenly.
Differently.
But for me, it's just, the constant pressure on other parts of the body, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
But just the basic things are hard. Seat's going to have to come
You getting in the car, that was basically, and I thought no one could see me, but now that you've highlighted it, that was me yesterday after the show.
I did a couple of loads of washing, and that was not easy.
Yeah, and the stairs going up from the bistro at Channel 9. Yeah. You get up the top and you're like...
So what's the most difficult part for you?
I think difficulty sleeping at this particular point. I've got 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks to go.
Yeah.
And you're waking up, you have a few cramps, and you're tossing and turning a bit, and there's a bit of pressure there. So
you can feel it.
Yeah.
Looks like you've had some work done.
It's inappropriate. You've really, it suits you, Carlos.
Yeah.
I do. I think that's one of the pluses, certainly, don't you think?
Yes, and I didn't really get that department, so I'm quite disappointed.
What?
Well, look, you look good. I'm just saying.
Can you do that again?
They're out of tension as well.
You didn't even get the swollen feet, I bet.
I didn't get swollen feet.
Yeah,
you got an easy ride.
That's why most shows this week I've been wearing thongs every morning because it's too hard to.
Oh, every bloke should go through this, I reckon.
You should. We
That's
highly
lovely.
recommend it.
News, sport and weather are next.
Stay with us. Plus, the new parenting trend, calling for babies to be treated like adults. This is very interesting. So we're talking no high chairs, we're talking no dummies. It's all coming up on Today.
No
Stay
dummies.
with us. No dummies. Good morning, Adelaide. You can expect a very hot day with a top of 42 degrees. Right now, it's sitting at 30, so let's get the very latest news on the bushfires now with Sylvia.
We have reporters this morning in both states. Let's go first to Melbourne, where Today reporter Lauren Ellis has some breaking news on those fires in the Grampians. Lauren, we just heard some structural damage has been caused. What is the latest? For now, a critical day for our fire crews in both states. Elise, thank you. A man at the centre of a tense 10-hour siege in southeast Queensland will today face court after being arrested in Canungra. Yesterday, the 37-year-old man barricaded himself in his car, claiming to have explosives. The man eventually surrendered, handing himself in to police. US police have discovered the body of missing Australian soldier Paul Mackay in upstate New York. The 31-year-old Afghanistan war veteran vanished in dense forest more than 2 weeks ago. Overnight, his body was found near the summit of a mountain. The Canberra man was on leave from the Australian Army and was suffering from post-traumatic stress. To finance now, in the US, the Dow Jones has shed 74 points and the Australian dollar is weaker across the board. It will get you 88.1 US cents. Let's get all the sport now with Tim.
Cricket today, Cricket Sunday, a Nutrigrain Iron Man on Sunday like you've never seen it before.
I love the
Start of the
Iron Man.
series.
Brilliant.
At 11 o'clock, check your guides.
And the cycling not far away too.
Yeah, we've got that Sunday night, so it's going to be busy.
Brilliant.
Good time to go on maternity leave for just sitting on the TV. Thanks,
Me
Steve.
too.
Good idea.
You and I on the couch.
Excellent. Sounds good to me.
All right, let's get some weather now with Steve Jacobs. Hey, Stevie.
Just bumped into a couple of boys that have just come off night shift, throwing the line in. Obviously, the boss doesn't know they're knocked off because they're not actually looking at us, but they're probably trying to grab a little bit of lunch this morning. And for a roundup of where the fish are biting and what's happening on the coast right around the country, it's time to cross over to Luke Bradnam. Good morning, mate.
Morning, Stevie. Morning, everybody. Beautiful day here. This is Kira on the Gold Coast, and conditions around the country for the most part this weekend are going to be all good for getting out and about and amongst it. Here in the southeast, we've waited long enough, but the waves are finally going to arrive. We're going to have some decent swell hitters this weekend, and in Perth, you're definitely going to want to cool off. You're in for a real hot one on both days. The good news, though, conditions great for a day down the beach all weekend. For all of your local conditions, go to bcf.com.au. Carlos, Wendy, have a good one. See you next week.
Brother.
Thank you, Luke. Ahead on today, we have got your baby shower sorted with party queen Sarah Osmotherly.
Oh, thanks, darling.
Oh, yeah, she's come in specially for Karl. Sarah, what are you going to be showing us this morning?
Well, we're going to be talking a little bit about different types of cake. Little fun nappies that we've got inside here for you, Wendy. So things like caution fully loaded. That's a good one. This too shall pass. We've got go big or go home. That's for you, Karl. You like that one?
Where's the champagne?
This one's a favourite too. May contain traces of nuts. And finally, Daddy's turn. So, Wendy, when you're really, really tired and you want a little bit of a pick-me-up at 3 o'clock in the morning, then we've got lots of fun little nappies in here that you can pull out for a late-night mummy nappy time.
You are a weird chick. I love it, though.
Hey, it's Mum's, Karl. This is what we've got to do to keep ourselves sane at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And I'm not arguing. So earlier I put on this empathy belly for a day to find out what it's like to be pregnant. Now, it's sparked a lot of feedback. Emily says... the carpal tunnel in both hands and having to sleep with ice packs on my wrists.
And, and Dan's tweeted, my wife is 31 weeks and I'm just glad she's past the point of crying at a puppy on TV.
That is me.
So keep that feedback coming in. We're after the weird and wonderful and strange things about pregnancy.
It is a beautiful time.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It
the
can
whole
be.
family.
Yeah,
It can be.
It's lovely. No complaints.
No emotions.
No.
Well,
You okay?
I am. I'm better now.
He's had the fat suit for a day and he's still coming
He's
through.
I'm starting to feel emotion.
He won't stop talking about it.
Don't cry in the ad.
Save it for the feedback time. That's it. I'm getting emotional now. Now, January is a big month for love, Sylvia.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
With dating websites seeing their biggest influx of new users.
From RSVP to Tinder or speed dating, if that's your thing.
Do you know?
Yeah, we don't know. Today, Sean
What?
White found that there are actually plenty of ways to find your perfect match.
Any thoughts on online dating?
There's a saying I love. It's people that do nothing, have nothing. Oh, I've got it wrong. Oh, I can't remember. It's basically, you do nothing, you have nothing.
All right, we'll go out. Oh, gee, it's fraught out there, isn't it?
It's difficult.
Well, it's Sean. Sylvia's had her issues with dating in the past. But she is single, and look, why don't you go with Sean? He's a handsome young fella.
God knows I've tried. He just won't take the bait, Sean.
You've got to make it very obvious that you're interested in someone.
Oh, there's obvious, and then, you know, there's going
Impossible.
too far.
All right, if you've got some cracker date stories, Sylvia's got a couple, good or bad, tell us on Twitter and Facebook. Joshua has tweeted us this morning, my worst date ever was when we were having a nice dinner, then her ex walked in, long story short, she left with him. Dude.
Dug up the ashes.
Dude.
Such a bad outcome. Renee said, she tweeted us, my worst date was only days ago. It included a Macca's ice cream, a movie, it's not too bad, and holding the hand he picked his nose with.
Get out of town.
That's disgusting. Sylvia, have you got any stories?
Yeah, well, Steve's got a story. He says, we went to the cinema, I rudely insulted the ticket taker and found out it was her father.
Oh, don't be rude to anyone.
Be rude to anyone.
And one kind bloke on Facebook offered his best pickup line, do you believe in love at first sight? Or do I need to walk by again?
To pick up
Don't think it worked.
I don't think they work.
It's so bad, don't do it.
All the ones about did you drop out of the sky?
No, mate, you're a king of them.
I knew you know them all.
I need to get Dicky in here. Where's Dicky?
Why is Dicky not chatting with us?
Exactly. Well, we'll get the expert in just a second.
We'll have to revisit this topic.
Exactly.
So coming up...
Can we not?
Yeah, we can. Slippery business. The guys who, this is a bit bizarre, found a snake in their toilet.
Oh.
Yeah, their amazing story. Amazing. Up next.
Plus, the latest on the evacuation orders for the bushfires in South Australia and Victoria. Those are coming up very soon on the Today Show. Stay with us. Love this song from you too. Good morning, everyone. Waking up in Brisbane, you can expect a possible shower with a top of 30 degrees today. Right now, it is already warming up and 21 degrees. Wendy.
Thank you, Carlos. And with the mercury set to soar again today, we are talking about the heat with Neil Mitchell from 3AW and what's making news. Neil, good morning to you. Melbourne's Lord Mayor has decided to open up the air-conditioned foyers of the Town Hall public pools. Now, this is in a bid to help all the homeless out there. What do you think, Neil? A kind gesture by the Mayor?
I've been going into the shopping centres to try to cool down, and they've been thrown out because the local ice cream shop doesn't want homeless people sitting around scaring the customers. They've been suffering. There are real health concerns for them. So Robert Doyle says, yeah, come along and have a swim in the pool. But more than that, we'll open up the foyer of the town hall and you can come and sit in there, which is probably a better use of it than the councillors would normally do.
OK. Well, now, the things Australians do when they're on accused of not wearing enough deodorant, not... What is our biggest travel sin?
Drive me up, embarrassment.
Okay.
Coming up, Kate Blanchett leads the charge for the Oscars with 5 Australians in the running, plus a few surprises. The Hollywood parenting trend to treat babies like adults, no bottles, and dummies required. Controversial stuff right now.
Potentially pose a threat.
Welcome back to the show. It's time now for the grill with Sylvia, World Australia, Sabrina Hassami. Nice to see you, ladies. Now, what is it really like to be pregnant is the question I've been posing this morning. If you haven't gone through it, you spent some time experiencing the reality of being 9 months along. What was the hardest thing you found in that process?
There are many things, Karl. Basically, it's the weight. It's the fact that you can't shave your legs very well. After I've had 4 kids, it's the fact that you feel like there's not much there in terms of the undercarriage anymore that's holding them in. You don't want to know, don't think about it. It's trying to drive a car, turning over to operation because you have to keep turning.
So
that's a good thing.
People
treat you really well.
I can't imagine not drinking for 9 months. But can I just give you a feel of the weight? Like, I don't want you don't have to put it on, but just feel that. In terms of so average between 12 and 15 kilos. And it's a lot of weight, and obviously it's distributed differently than that. But like I think those everyday things become a real struggle, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, try sitting down there with it.
It's the discomfort, isn't it? It's pressing in all the wrong places.
And then you've got to kind of put your legs apart to sit down, and that you want to go to the toilet all the time. On top of that.
All the time. I remember when Mum got pregnant with Pete, she cried for like 4 months because she knew she was
She knew she was going to have
Because she knew he was going to be a pain in the arse. Anyway, let's move on. Onward and upward. There you go, Pedro. A 28-year-old Kendall Reid is fed up with Sydney men, like my brother Pete. The gorgeous charity worker has taken out an ad in the classifieds offering free tickets to the cricket. Do you reckon that's the right way about going out there to find a bloke?
Look, I couldn't disagree more with her methodology. And there are several things here that really irked me when I was reading this article, and that's that she's actually gone and advertised all of the points that she wants to tick off that this male must meet criteria, if you will. You know, and she's advertised herself as this, as you said, this gorgeous, you know, gregarious woman. And I just thought to myself, if a man did that, we would think he was such a chauvinist, you know, putting up this ad online and saying, I'm stunning, I'm this wonderful, intelligent, smart talker, and what I need from you is for you to be good looking. Must know the difference between there and there, as in T-H-E-I-M-R, T-H-E-R-E, and, you know, going into the nitty-gritty of what this woman must do in order to be eligible to go on a date with him.
So, Sylvia, you're a veteran of dating.
I'm no veteran.
So how many men have you? I have no experience. I don't even know why you're going down this tack this morning.
It's fraught. It's
It is
fraught
for
out
all
there.
of us.
Thank you so much, ladies. Great to see
Thank you.
Nikki.
What?
4 kids.
I
know.
I have been changing nappies for 13 years.
And loving it. And loving it. All right. Next up, Richard Wilkins joins us. Dickie, good morning.
Oh, morning, Carlos.
The dating game.
Sorry, not sure what you're talking about there. Look, coming up, we're going to be chatting with the boss, Bruce Springsteen. His album is out today, and 5 Aussies nominated for 6 Oscars. We're going to run through them all, including Cate Blanchett, Blue Jasmine. It's all good. That's coming up. Good morning again. Well, if you've just woken up, yes, the good news is the Oscar nominations are out. American Hustle and Gravity leading the charge with 10 nominations apiece, and 5 Aussies up for 6 Academy Awards. Top of the list, of course,
I'll be staying with my
Cate Blanchett nominated for Best Actress for her role in Blue Jasmine. She's already won the Golden Globe on Monday and a stack of other stuff. She is, I know I keep saying it, but it's such a good line, the black caviar of awards season. Unbeatable, I reckon. Although she is up against some formidable opposition. Amy Adams for American Hustle, Sandra Bullock for Gravity. It doesn't get any stronger than that. I've just had the pleasure of coming back from New York City, where I was fortunate enough to record an interview with the boss.
We're going to come down and try to kick it one better this time. So we'll see you.
He is amazing, an amazing chat, got a whole lot of great stories. We actually did that at the NBC studios in New York City. He was rehearsing for the Jimmy Fallon show that he appeared on. All sorts of things. We'll be telling you about it on Monday.
I can't wait for that. I love the boss.
High Hopes, the album, you've heard it.
Oh, it's so
You've
good.
been raving about
Yeah,
it.
I have been raving because he just keeps upping the ante.
Yeah.
Just when you think, oh, there's a bit of sameness about a couple of the albums, then he goes bang, and the songwriting is brilliant, and the lyrics are always great, but the boss on fire.
And the band. He had
so good.
17 of them. Nice to be back.
Very genuine as well. News time now, Sylvia Jeffreys.
In other news, a funeral service for one hit victim, Daniel Christie, will begin in just over an hour after the 18-year-old was attacked in King's Cross on New Year's Eve. Taking a quick look at sport for you, and we've had a glimpse into the future at the Australian Open with Nick Kyrgios impressing some good judges despite going down to the 27th seed Benoit Paire in 5 sets. And I'll have more news for you in half an hour.
Some very good hitting there, 39 balls.
Very impressive.
Incredible. Gee, we've got some depth suddenly in Australian cricket, haven't we? Hey, let's get a check of your best local forecast now.
Already scorching temperatures. The beach is starting to get very busy already. As you can see, people bringing their pets down to try to cool them down already this morning. And that's a good reminder today, if you are leaving the house, please think about your pets. Make sure they've got shade, make sure they've got plenty of water, and just check on your neighbours if you've got elderly neighbours as well, because they'll be suffering through this heat wave. This is the second longest heat wave that Melbourne has seen since 1908. So make sure you do your best to look after yourself and everyone around you. Let's have a look at the weather across the weekend. again. Brisbane will see tops of 30 and 33 degrees. Perth will see sunny conditions and starting to warm up again in the west. They've had their fair share of hot weather over summer also. 37 on Saturday. Critical conditions for firefighters today, Karl and Wendy.
Yeah, tough day. Thank you for that, Stevie. Up next, the guy who took his movie budget and spent it helping the typhoon victims in the Philippines. Good news story. It's coming up right after this.
Welcome back. You're watching the Today Show. We have invited for you the Queen of Parties to show us how to make a DIY baby shower for your loved ones.
Well, actually, she's here to throw Wendy a baby shower.
No, it's for you, Carlos.
It's a surprise. It's a surprise.
You know, hormones have been running wild for you for a couple of months now, so it's time to
Working
unleash.
with Karl for the last week really has...
Well, and you can take it out on this cake. So grab the mallet.
This is actually called a smash cake.
It's a smash cake. Woo! Brilliant, now look, Karl, get in there. Get in there.
I've lost an eye.
Oh, here's a bit of fleck. Why does this happen on my segments? Everyone either loses an eye, chokes on a peanut butter ball.
So filled with lollies and
Filled
chocolate.
with lollies. Here you go, Karl. So you don't feel left
It's
out.
swelling up.
I'm sorry.
Look, is there anything wrong with
It's
my
the
eye?
one-eyed bandit, Karl.
What?
The one-eyed bandit. Hang on, you've got chocolate all around there now.
Coated with sugar, that's for sure. We'll get to that after 9:15 too. Some
Thank you.
other fun little ideas. But after the break, we'll have the latest on the evacuation orders from the bushfires in South Australia and Victoria. There's some important information coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. It is time for the very latest news. Now, here is Sylvia.
Thank you, Karl. Good morning again. Let's begin with the latest on the fire emergency unfolding in Victoria and South Australia. This is what we know right now. 4 emergency warnings are in place in Victoria's Grampians region. 4 properties have been evacuated because of that fire. Telstra will now force customers to pay penalties if they're late on bills of $70 or more. The communications watchdog has warned the extra fee will put even more pressure on customers to finance now. And in the US, the Dow Jones has shed 64 points and the Australian dollar right now will get you 88 US cents. Excitement is building among tech enthusiasts who've camped out overnight to be the first through the doors at Brisbane's new Apple Store. It is the 21st Apple Store in Australia. There you go, just another reason to go to Brisbane.
Oh, absolutely. Not that you need many reasons at all.
No.
Who wouldn't camp outside an Apple Store? Timmy?
I wouldn't.
At least you're honest.
Sam Stosur and Casey Delacqua headline the action at Melbourne Park today. The Australian cricket team says the current series against England is an important chance to try new things ahead of next year's World Cup. So there you go. Just a little bit of a splash.
Thank you very much for that, Timmy. See you soon. Up next, the latest on the evacuation orders from the bushfires in South Australia and Victoria. That info coming up.
Love this city, you gotta love this city.
You gotta love it, even though at the moment it's not easy. It's already 35 degrees in Adelaide this morning, heading for a top of 42 for the very latest on the fires. Let's go to Mick Eyre from the CFS in Adelaide. What is the latest in regards to those fires?
We've got 2 fires burning in the Narcat Conservation Park, but the more concerning fire is the one in the southern part of the Narcat Conservation Park, which overnight came out of the park and is moving into agricultural lands.
Best of luck through the remainder of the next 24 hours. There are other parts of the state through the course of this morning that have been saying that they've said, look, it's too late now. You've got to bunker down in your own home and do the best you can. But for the rest of the state, please make sure you've got a plan. Enact it right now because later on the conditions are only going to get worse from here. So tough day ahead, Wendy.
It is, and of course we'll keep you up to date on 9 News throughout the day on that situation. Well, a change of pace now, and it could be time to toss out your baby's toys and even bottles because according to a new trend, babies should be treated like adults. It's the latest fad to come out of Hollywood and it's catching on fast. Have a look.
Oh, what a lovely idea.
No, I'm not into it. You just said that because you know I'm not into it.
Well, who would be into it?
Well, you need to nurture your child. And
I would have thought so.
You can't just leave them at the table to fend for themselves when they're that little.
You know, and the whole thing is you want to be able to treat a child and a baby like a baby while they are babies. Soon enough they're going to grow up. That's right. You know what I mean? Well, some of them are going to grow up. Sylvia,
will.
Tim. yet to do that.
What are you on about?
Anyway. What is happening, Richard? It's getting rough down under.
Well, you can tell it's Friday, you guys. You can really tell. Okay,
Really?
well, George Clooney, he's up to his old tricks again. The practical joke-playing superstar has struck again. Find out who his newest victim is in Celebuzz.
What happiness is to you, because I'm happy that alone give you.
A special message for Wendy Kingston, who's going on maternity leave. This is from Salt and Pepper, this song. I think you all know it. Get up on this.
Well said.
And Dickie's got some flowers for you. So, Wendy, on behalf...
thank you.
God love
Very
you.
kind, thank you.
You've done a really wonderful job here.
It has been so fun, thank you.
You've been working with some very dodgy people.
Exactly.
It's been
last
difficult.
week. I'm surprised you haven't had the baby. But on behalf of everyone here at Channel 9, you are one of the truly great people to work with in the business in general. Not only you're a great newsreader, but you're a great presenter and a great person. So
thanks.
all the very best to you and the Barb. Little Carlos in there.
Well, I don't have a boy name currently, so Carl's been pushing that one all week. It
go
may
well.
be.
Go well. Safe journeys, and we all wish the very best for you and the little bub. So
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, here, Wendy.
Kind of excited, yeah, but a bit sad. It's been really fun. I've loved working with you, Dickie. And we had a week with Cam as well, and I've topped it off with Carlos. I know, so it's been an interesting month.
We've got that salt and pepper song that we can crank out.
And we've arranged the live camera in there for the birth and the whole
Absolutely,
thing.
yeah. We're taping it all.
Do you know boy or girl?
I don't know boy or girl, yeah.
But either way, you're going to be doing this.
I will once it's out, yes, Karl.
What about 3 cheers for Wendy? Can we do that? Hip hip!
Hooray!
Hooray! Hip hip!
Hooray! Push it real good! Hey, thanks so much for coming today too. Gentlemen, it's a big weekend sport. Thank you, Sylvia, too, for filling in. It's
My
been wonderful
pleasure.
to
Thanks
see
for
you.
having me, Karl.
Sylvia needs a date, by the way, too.
Springsteen, yeah. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.